coming back to the most important part of our syllabus or today's webinar, sorry, the C programming language. Now, it is a general purpose machine independent language. Now, don't get confused by looking at this word machine independent language. Most of you must have learned Java. They know it is a platform independent language. We'll talk about those two terms after some time. Now, C programming language. Now, C is again one of the languages which we are learning. So, the C, that name was given by, or that language was developed by Dennis Ritchie along with his team at Bell Labs in 1972. And it was not, they have not given any standard procedure to follow a C language. So in 1989, American National Standards Institute, ANSI, they released a version of C programming language, which was a standard to be followed by the entire world. And hence it was named as ANSI C because the standards were given by this particular institute. So this is about history of C programming in short. So it was actually evolved from two previous languages, VCPL and B. These were the previously existing languages. The VCPL stands for Basic Combined Programming Language, which was only used for writing operating systems and compilers. And B language was used for creating early versions of Unix operating system. So our C programming language is somewhat based on these two languages. And then C was developed by Dennis Ritchie and his team at AT&T Bell Laboratory of USA in 1972. Now, again, the same thing which I've already told you in the previous slide, since it was vaguely defined, it was not standardized, ANSI, American National Standard Institute, had to come in the picture. They set up a technical committee to draft a proposal for the standard ANSI C language, and hence the language was termed. From 1989 and 1990, the language was worldwide declared as ANSI C, which is now the global standard for C programming language. We are still using the C. Now, C programming is also a structured programming language or a procedure-oriented programming language. Now, what do we mean by structured programming language or procedure-oriented programming language? The entire program of C is divided into different modules. These all modules or functions will perform individual tasks of that program. All these tasks are combined and that makes your entire program. To understand this basic structured programming or this particular approach, we can take a simple example of a calculator program. Suppose you're trying to develop a calculator, simple mathematical calculator. You're supposed to perform addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulus operation. Now in that, if you perform addition, subtraction, all these operations in the same program, your program will become very complicated and clumsy. You don't want to write program like that. You need to define. And what if you want to calculate addition 2-3 times, multiplication 4-5 times? You cannot keep writing the code again, same code again and again. You cannot repeat the code again and again. What you can do is put these codes, divide these codes in different modules, in different functions, and use these functions repeatedly in your program. That is why we say structured programming, C programming. And C is also a structured programming or modular programming, which is divided into different modules or functions. And then these functions are coming together to form or perform a particular task. Okay, so this is why we call C as a structured programming language. Now, I was talking about machine independent term before some time. C language is a machine independent language because no matter which machine we write a program, it can be run on any other machine. Now hold on, those who already know Java, they have come across this term before, that one of the most important features of Java is nothing but Java is platform independent. I don't want to talk about details of Java right now because many of you must not be even aware of these things right now, but still get the difference between two. Machine independent is different from platform independent. Platform refers to the operating system of the program. Machine refers to the hardware of the program. These are two completely different terminologies. C programming is machine independent and not platform independent. Being not platform independent is one of the drawbacks of C programming language. So please remember this very carefully. Now, let's talk about a very simple program of C. When we talk about this particular line, hash include stdio.h. This line is called as, or hash include particularly called as, preprocessor directive. To understand preprocessor directive, let's concentrate more on this particular term, preprocessor and directive. Preprocessor ka matlab hai, even before processing your program, your compiler is supposed to direct your program to this particular header file. Now, why do we have these header files in C programming? See, when we were talking about syntax of C programming, this word syntax came into picture. These standards of C programming, the developers, when develop a particular programming language, they also give you a standard set of rules to follow. In case if I have to print something, in case if I have to store something, in case if I have to perform something, or for all these tasks, some standard syntax is already defined in every programming language. These, in particularly C programming language, these all syntaxes are categorized into different header files. जैसे हमारे body के लिए head acts as a main part of the body and it controls all the movements. Similarly, all these header files are called as library files. Whichever meaning you want to find of a particular existing syntax in C programming, you will have to go to these header files. So in simple terms, preprocessor directive मतलब ये जो hash include और hash define जो preprocessor directive हम लोग पढ़ते हैं, these are supposed to process your program by directing compiler to these header files. So preprocessor directive, even before processing your program, your compiler should be directed to these files. मतलब ये फाइल में से मैंने कुछ ना कुछ कंटेंट यूज किया है अपने प्रोग्राम में. So we have stdio.h and conio.h. Recently, we are not using conio.h because getch and clr-scr are supported by stdio. Even if you do not write them, it is completely fine. So then this is the structure of C programming language. Now, some of you write int main, some of you write void main. I'll talk about that also, that difference also. Let's concentrate on a simple program structure of C. Now, void main. Now, why are we writing this as a function here? Okay, so this void is nothing but return type of a function. What do we understand by return type? Return type is nothing but the type of value this function is going to return. Now, this will not make sense right now because we have yet to learn functions, which is again a later topic. But right now to understand, this is something which will contain my entire program. And since this is the main part of my program, this will contain all the statements which are to be executed in my program. This is termed as main, since it is the most important main part of the program. It is followed by parentheses. We'll talk about the syntax after some time. It is again, it is given by opening curly brace and a closing curly brace. It is specifying block of code by initially putting an opening curly brace, and it is ending that block of code by giving a closing curly brace. Now there is a very simple statement here, which is printing C programming. Since we are aware of printf function, I won't much talk about it. Printf is a function which is supposed to print or display a particular message in a program. Now what happens in this case? Why am I writing this getch? Now getch comes from, or why do we need to write getch in a particular program? Okay, when we execute these programs in Turbo C, if you have used Turbo C, you know, when you execute this program, the program writing window is in blue in color, and the program execution window is in black in color. So when you execute the program, that black window of output doesn't wait till you finish or seeing the output. The program is executed. You can see the output window by going to window and output also. I don't have Turbo C right now, I could have shown you, but then that window will give you the output. So that window completely disappears in front of you very fast. So to keep that window in front of you, we generally write getch. So unless you enter any character from keyboard externally, that output screen will not vanish away, will not get disappeared. So getch मतलब पूरा प्रोग्राम एग्जीक्यूट होने के बाद जब तक मैं कीबोर्ड से कोई रैंडम कैरेक्टर प्रेस नहीं करूं, तब तक वो आउटपुट स्क्रीन तुम्हारे सामने ही रहेगा, वो जाएगा नहीं. And then there is one more thing we have. We always write clr-scr somewhere here. That is because we keep continuing executing multiple programs one after the other, and the previous program का output is not cleared by output screen automatically. उसके लिए हमें लिखना पड़ता है clr-scr clear screen, जो ये प्रोग्राम एग्जीक्यूट होने से पहले उनके सारे प्रीवियस प्रोग्राम के आउटपुट्स को इरेज कर देगा, क्लियर कर देगा. So that is how we use clr-scr and getch. But if you are using IDEs in today's time, you don't need to write clr-scr getch. If you are using Turbo C, the traditional software for C programming still, you will have to always write clr-scr and getch. So this is a very simple basic structure of a C program, and all these details are given here. Now, if you there's just one point I skipped here. This is called as a multi-line comment. Multi-line comment. Comment का मतलब होता है a part of program which is just for your extra information, जहाँ पे आप कुछ ना कुछ information लिख सकते हो user के understanding के लिए या अपने remember करने के लिए. For example, मैंने एक particular program में 10 functions लिखे हैं. I need to define or remember all the functions का क्या क्या reason है. I can put a comment in between wherever I feel like. So comments are nothing but helpful for programmers as well as for users when we come across a software particularly. Then these comments can be written as single line comment or multi-line comment. Single line comment are written as /. दो // लिखोगे तो single line comment होगा, आगे आएगा जब मैं programs continue करूंगी तभी. And multi-line comments are multiple lines can be commented by using slash and star. Then we have printf function, main function. The entire explanation which I've explained is already listed here on the slide. Now, this is again a second type of writing main function. Some of you follow this approach. Now, what is the difference between this and that approach? We will talk about this exact difference between the previous approach and this approach when we talk about functions, because there it will be more clear to you. Okay. Right now, just remember here I can write int main. Even if I keep the brackets empty, that is completely fine. Some of you write int main bracket mein void. That is also fine. A simple statement to be printed here. I like programming in C, and the same output you can see here. But remember just one thing here, those who are following this particular type of writing in C program, they should always, if they write void here, they should not write return statement. If they're writing int here, they should write return 0. Okay, now quickly let me tell you a reason. Since we are writing only one function right now, and which is the main function in our program, my program execution always starts from this line. See, when a program goes for a compilation, compilation starts from line number 1, and line by line, it compiles the entire program. Okay, but when we start with execution, your execution always begins from main function. So suppose if I'm writing one more function in this function, let's say main से मुझे एक और addition of 2 numbers calculate करना है. I'll write one more program outside main. I'll write one more function outside main. एंड देन क्या हो जाएगा, मेन का प्रोग्राम एग्जीक्यूट करते करते बीच में ही मैंने एडिशन फंक्शन को अगर कॉल किया है तो कंट्रोल चला जाएगा एडिशन फंक्शन के पास, एंड देन फ्रॉम देयर द कंट्रोल अगेन कम्स बैक टू मेन. बट मेन डज नॉट रिटर्न कंट्रोल टू एनीबडी एल्स. प्रोग्राम शुरू भी मेन पे होता है, खत्म भी मेन पे ही होगा. सो प्रोग्राम एग्जीक्यूशन ऑलवेज बिगिंस विथ मेन एंड एंड्स विथ मेन. So main function doesn't have to return control to anybody. Okay, so at the end we always return 0 because main does not return any value. Okay, so simply just remember like that. We always have to write return 0 statement at the end. If we use int main syntax, if you go for void main, it's completely fine. There is no need of return statement at all. And the same explanation is followed here on the slide. So here we have this as standard library input output header file. Here we have main start program, which is start of your main function, and then this is a statement to be displayed. This is a \n escape sequence जिसको हम लोग बोलते हैं. We have \t \n which inserts a new line in the program output, and then return 0 end of the program, end of the segment. Now what are some good practices, good programming practices we should follow? There are some students who just start typing a program until the end of the program also they are still in the same vertical indentation. Whenever you're writing a program, please always start following indentation. A good programmer should always have indentation because it becomes your program more readable. You can find out your mistakes very quickly if your program is following indentation, and it becomes more readable. Now in recent IDEs, they provide indentation automatically. Okay, so you don't, once you press enter, the opening bracket goes to the perfect vertical indentation. Tab अपने आप आ जाता है कभी-कभी. So you need not worry in that case, but then still it is a good practice to always have a good indentation in your program every time. You can put comments if you're developing a software for a third party. It is always good, or it is always suggested that you should put comment so that the reader or the user of your software will understand the reasons behind writing those lines of code. Now there are some more examples which we can discuss. Now if you are already familiar about C programming syntax, we can quickly see this example also. This is a simple number which is a type of integer variable. We'll talk about data types also quickly. This is a number which is a type of integer variable, and that number is accepted from user. So this is again another function which is called as input function, scanf. So output function, so there are different set of built-in input output set of functions in C programming language. Some of them are printf, scanf, getS, getch, putS, and so on. So these are different input output related functions. Scanf we use to read numbers or any other type of data from user. The same value can be printed here. Now there's a difference in these two lines. While reading the data, we read a data by using ampersand. So whichever variable you're storing data in, that variable is associated with an ampersand sign. Ampersand is a memory of operator. Okay, memory of operator मतलब जब तुम number read कर रहे हो, तुम्हारा program जब number read कर रहा है, this syntax will tell where that number has to be stored. So this will help that number to go to this particular address. Okay, this is called as address of operator, not memory of operator. It is also called as your address of operator. So number variable को जहाँ पर भी memory allocate हुआ है, उसका address is accessed by this particular operator. and then that same address will store the value which is provided for number variable by your user. And then the same is printed here. While printing, you did not access ampersand sign. You did not use ampersand sign because a variable is directly accessed by using its name. Okay. So here we have a simple example of accepting a number from user. Then the simple anatomy of a program. We have preprocessor program header, which are containing header files, preprocessor directives, if any. So it is also possible that you write hash include and then hash define statement also. We generally use hash define preprocessor directive for storing constants or for using constants in our program. Let's say मुझे area of circle का program करना है और मुझे बार-बार 3.142 नहीं लिखना है. I'll define hash define pi करके और उसका value दे दूंगी 3.142. The same I can use in the entire program. So this is again an example of that. So again, explanation of your anatomy of a C program and a little more about preprocessor directives. I have put down all the details in slides so that wherever later you can go through all these slides, you will understand the explanation what I've used. Okay. So I'll just skip this explanation as of now because you'll get to read it in the slides later on also. Now talking about the next topic, tokens in C. This is again a very initial and very basic topic in a C programming language. When we talk about tokens, tokens are nothing but all the parts of your program which contributes to your program, all the small units in your program which actually contribute to the syntax of your program. So these small units are called as tokens, and these are categorized into different types. So without much ado, let's go to the first type of tokens. We have keywords. Keywords are nothing but reserved meaning words. जो वर्ड्स सी प्रोग्रामिंग में या बाकी सारे प्रोग्रामिंग में रिजर्व करके रखे हैं, उनको तुम वेरिएबल्स की तरह फंक्शन नेम के लिए, क्लास के नाम के लिए नहीं यूज कर सकते. दीज आर रिजर्व मीनिंग वर्ड्स. कभी भी तुम इफ नाम का वेरिएबल नहीं क्रिएट करोगे, कभी भी तुम लोग इंट नाम का वेरिएबल क्रिएट नहीं करोगे या फंक्शन क्रिएट नहीं करोगे. फंक्शन का नाम, वेरिएबल का नाम कभी भी ये नामों में से नहीं होगा. सो कीवर्ड्स आर ऑलवेज स्पेसिफाइड इन लोअर केस. कीवर्ड्स कैन नॉट बी यूज्ड एज आइडेंटिफायर्स. आइडेंटिफायर्स का मतलब होता है either you cannot use keywords as variable names or function names or class names. And then we have we have around 32 keywords in C programming language. So these are all, we have keywords which we have in C programming language. Then identifiers. Identifiers का मतलब क्या होता है? These are the variables or functions in your program. Okay. Function names or variable names in your program, or array names or structure names or class names. When we talk about object oriented programming. Now identifiers मतलब जैसे हमारा कुछ नाम है, हमें किसी नाम से आइडेंटिफाई किया जाता है, वैसे ही प्रोग्राम में हर एक वेरिएबल को, फंक्शन को, एरे को किसी नाम से आइडेंटिफाई किया जाता है. Hence these are called as identifiers. So these are user defined words. मुझे अपने आइडेंटिफायर का नाम, वेरिएबल का नाम रंजिता रखना है, I can keep it, but have some logical names. If you are calculating simple interest in a program, please do not give variable names as XYZ. Please put variables as principal amount, rate of interest, number of years, or maybe you can go for P and an R. At least they can specify some close relativity to the names of the variables. So likewise, you can give some logical names to your variables. There are certain rules which we follow while writing identifiers. It should never start with a digit. So all these rules can be also seen here. It can be composed of uppercase, lowercase letters, underscore. Without underscore, you cannot use any other special symbol. You cannot write ampersand Ranjita and write your variable name. No, we cannot do that. Starting letter should either be underscore or alphabet, always. Okay. So your starting letter should always be an underscore or alphabet. But we generally do not go for underscore ABC, underscore A wale names. Those are again restricted for some other use. Some compiler specific operations we need. For them it is restricted. Then identifiers cannot be used as keywords, as I've already mentioned. Rules for constructing identifiers in C are given here. So whatever rules we have, I have listed down here. Since length of the identifier is specified, it should not be more than 31 characters. You can write as long as the name of the variable you want, but then it should not be really very long because you will only have to type it again and again. So please try using logical names for your variables. Okay. So these are certain rules.